I thought I would share some lessons, like my journey, like my experiences as well, on earning $200,000 per month. As an introduction, I think the hardest part is actually getting to $10,000 per month. I really don't mean for that to come across in like a patronizing way at all. But the reason for that is because once you're at $10,000 per month, essentially the only thing that you have to do is figure out how do you scale from 10,000 to 100,000. You've already figured out a way to actually earn the money. You've already acquired the skill set, or you've built the systems, built the business. So you've already figured out a way of actually earning the, and it's much, much faster to figure out how to scale than it is to go about acquiring all of the skills that you need to make your first $10,000 per month. Like, one other point that I really noticed is that I actually get much more upset about wasting my time. You earn more money, like you look at your hours as being more valuable. At least I value my time at over $1,000 per hour. And it means that some of the very small things that can go wrong in like day-to-day life, where you're like waiting for things that pull my attention, or something wasting my time, an interruption happening in my life, ends up costing you like quite a lot of money, and it can be quite draining on your mind. At least that's what I find. So you can never have complete control over everything in life, but trying now, it becomes much more apparent to me, if I feel that I'm wasting time on something, it becomes much more annoying. I can feel the money like slipping away in my hands. Another kind of point at the start, I generally don't feel a sense of happiness by earning more money at the moment. If anything, it was all quite anticlimactic. To earn $1,000 was a goal of mine for a very long time, years in fact. It even sounded like pretty ridiculous when I first said it. It was something that I thought that I would never do. I wrote it down, and it was something that I wanted to achieve, but I just wasn't quite sure that it was possible. Regardless, it's been a very interesting journey. I feel it's worth sharing my kind of lessons, mistakes, and achievements. There's definitely been a mixture of all three. It has not been a case of jumping from one win to another. It has been very up and down, and still is, even to this day now. So sorry about that background noise. So to start off with, I think just to give like a breakdown of the income, so you have an understanding of where I'm coming from on some of these points. Currently, or let's go off like last month, so September, that would be, as that was a full calendar month, I would have earned about $150,000 from OnlyFans, between $50,000 to $60,000 from course sales, about $60,000 from consulting, about $10,000 from my agency, maybe a little bit more actually, maybe about 15K from the agency, but much. And then $5,000 to $10,000 from like other income streams. So by other income streams, it can be anything from like affiliates, OnlyFans commission, like I get like a 5% override. It can be just like little things that I have going on, like little things here and there. Rule number one, think like someone who is where you want to be. This sounds like very simple advice, but I think most people really don't apply this in their life. I actually had a document that I would read every single day. I made a video on this before, and it said, think like someone who makes $100,000 per month. And that would be like a constant reminder that would pop up in my life of me thinking, what would a millionaire be doing right now? Or if I'm dealing with a particular problem, what would a millionaire do in my situation? Or if I have some free time, what would someone who's making $100,000 per month be doing at this particular moment? Because it's not going to be watching Netflix or wasting time. So really get into the mindset of thinking like someone who is in a position of where you want to be. Just apply that to your own mind. What would a successful person be doing at this particular moment? If ever you feel a little bit lost, like that's a question that I will always apply to myself. And of course you can apply it to other things in your life. If you want to be extremely healthy or have a six-pack or whatever, you should be thinking, what would someone with a six-pack be doing right now, and make those decisions in your own life. Of course, it doesn't happen immediately. It doesn't happen like that. Just because you eat healthy for a couple of days, you're not going to have a six-pack. The same thing applies to money. But your point, you're setting your ship in the correct direction because you're making those correct decisions. And after a number of months, or however long it takes, after a specific period of time, your life will end up catching up with the direction of the decisions that you have been making over the previous period. So that's something to really keep in mind. Mike Tyson also said, it was a really good quote from Mike Tyson actually, that you have to be the champion before you become the champion, I think it was. So That means you have to be performing all of the activities that a world champion boxer would do in his case before he actually had the opportunity to go and compete in the tournament to actually win the title. Yeah, you have to go out and perform the activities like day to day and make sure that you become someone who makes $100,000 before the revenue, before your income actually catches up, if that makes sense. You need to be making and spending your time in the correct way, thinking like that type of person and performing the same activity as that type of person in order for you to have that type of life. Second kind of sub point on this is change your mindset. This was like a big one for me. Open your eyes to what is possible. There are people out here making obscene amounts of money. It doesn't really matter about your kind of personal situation. If you're watching this video now, I'm assuming that you have an internet connection and either a laptop or a smartphone. You have access to the tools and resources that are available to you. Whether you choose to take advantage of them or not is another thing, but you can also go out and watch some like YouTubers, like actual business people. You can learn from them. We've never had access to such like high quality information for free. And you can also watch like YouTubers or anyone else, in fact, like anyone that is like very successful. You should look at what they're doing and never look at it as they've got lucky. Try to reverse engineer what they've actually done, understand how they got to that particular point where they are. Sure, there's some lucky ones out there, but there's a ton of people out there that you can learn from.